There we go. So I already showed you this once before, but I just want to show you the first half of this because I have some. This is more to the point with dangerous men and because people ask me about hybristophilia. They also talked about. We're going to also talk about alpha widows here because that is actually the topic for today's show. But I'm going to show you. You have to know a little bit about hybristophilia, and you have to know a little bit about the Beauty and the Beast narrative that actually Jordan Peterson made a pretty decent case for in this one. It's this one right here, the very first part of this. Here we go.
Liked about Beauty and the Beast, and I do think that's the best Disney movie ever made, was that it's a real female hero myth. I mean, the woman, Beauty, is beautiful, so she's high up in the female dominance hierarchy, but she's witty and well-read and intelligent and adventurous and brave and courageous and truthful, all of that. And she doesn't fall for Gaston, the psychopathic persona. And young women are much more likely to fall for men like that, by the way, than women who are slightly more what would you say?
Mature. Okay. We know for a bloody fact that this is false, but
wiser. So they'll fall for dark triad men, and that's partly how psychopathy propagates itself across the generations. Right? They can be enticed by psychopathic personas, but she prefers the Beast.
Now, did you notice? Like, I'll let him continue here, but did you notice this is like his mentality is that women are wonderful. Women would never get like given like everything being above board, women would make the best choice. They wouldn't go with Gaston. They would go with like the Beast who they have to tame to become a prince, right? They would if you just let women like have free reign, just like take the leash off of them and let them do their own thing, that they will always make the best decision. It's men, it's horrible men who are deceiving these women. They're psychopaths, right? They're Machiavellian. They're dark triad personalities, right? Sociopath, psychopath. What's the other one? Psychopath, psychopathy, Machiavellianism, and narcissism. They're all those guys. Yeah, women only get those when they don't know well enough, because if they're smart and you give them enough time, then they'll always make the best decisions. No, they don't, Jordan. They don't do that. Go watch Tinder Swindler. Seriously. Go look at it. Go look at the go look at the incidences of hybristophilia. Only women get hybristophilia. Men do not get hybristophilia. Women get hybristophilia. Okay, that's the love for felons and dark triad personalities and convicted criminals. In some cases, they're murderers and rapists too.
It's like, well, the Beast is the adventure. It's like, well, it's this terrible man, you know, like he's rough, he's unhued, but he's got potential, right? And that's what really attracts her. And she wants someone who can guard the walls and make a safe haven for the children, but who's generous enough who's productive enough to be useful and generous enough to share. And so she civilizes him. I hesitate to talk about Andrew Tate because I don't know that much about him.
Right, that is absolutely not what it's about, and I'm about to prove it to you. You guys are going to love this. I've been wanting to do this for a while, but I'm going to make the case, because it's already been made for me several times and several years earlier. I'm going to make the case that Belle from Beauty and the Beast, Belle, should have married Gaston, not the Beast. Should have married, because women left to their own devices, and I'm going to use Jordan Peterson's logic to prove this to you, because left to their own devices, and if they were making the best decisions and they had full knowledge of all the factors and all the variables that Jordan seems to think they magically know somehow once they hit like, 29, 30, 31 years old, that he should somehow be able to do that. What do you got here, Mark? Marty Mart. I've noticed Peterson doesn't really understand the other side of hypergamy. No, he does. He just doesn't talk about it. He's stuck on the beta bucks as if that's all there is. Maybe it's because he never gamed women in his younger days. He's never gamed a woman in his life. Would you like me to explain that to you? Because I will be happy to. You are correct, though. Yeah, there is no experience. There's no lived experience. He has no frame of reference for anything that he's talking about. And I'm about to prove, funny you should say that. I'm about to prove to you why. Belle should have married Gaston. Because if everything was above board and we knew everything, we looked at everything from a sort of a narrative perspective, Gaston is the Beast is a spurg. He's an incel. In fact, he's not even an incel. He's a dangerous, self-loathing, teeth gnashing incel, if you think about it. Why do I say that? Well, the work's already been done for me. And I'm about to read you that. This was a while ago, and probably most of my audience has never even seen this before, but this is fun. It's funny as hell when you think about it. But here's the this is actually an Atlantic article. Is it the Atlantic? No, it's the Observer article. Why Belle should have chosen Gaston. Okay, this is a PowerPoint presentation. Now, remember, this is from back in 2017. If you're wondering where the hell I got this, I actually did a show on this with my mentor, God rest his immortal soul, Pat Campbell. And we talked about this before. And the reason why I wanted to talk about it now is because it flies in the face of everything that Jordan Peterson has been talking about with respect to Andrew Tate. Okay, so let me kill this out of here. Why Belle should have chosen Gaston, a PowerPoint presentation by me. I forget who the chick was, Dana Schwartz. Meet Gaston. Gaston, very strong muscles, great hunter, will be good at providing for you in 18th century France. Ready to commit, wants kids, lots of friends, very popular, great singing voice. All of this garnered from his singing debut in the very beginning of the movie. This is the Beast. The Beast is very moody, tried to kidnap your dad and lock him up forever. Will yell at you for looking at a flower, because he never explains the flower until later on. No friends, only hangs out with people he pays. Yeah, the animated furniture and appliances. No friends, only hangs out with people he pays. Doesn't have a job. Lazy trust funder. Doesn't know how to eat with a spoon. Was not hospitable to the enchantress, and then was not hospitable to Maurice. Did not learn his lesson. Okay. Side by side, here's the comparison. Gaston can get an entire tavern singing with him. Beast never sings with people. He is no fun. On a first name basis with everyone. That's Gaston. The Beast makes everyone call him master. Gaston comes up with fun evil schemes. The Beast couldn't scheme his way out of a paper bag. Gaston is a working man, and the Beast, eventually, as we find out, is a bourgeois pig. Historical context, based on clothes and weaponry, Beauty and the Beast, 1991, takes place mid-18th century. 2017 version mentions Gaston came back from fighting in a war, most likely the 7 Years' War. Ergo, Gaston is a war veteran. 7 Years' War ended in 1763, so let's put the action in 1764. What happens in France at the end of the 18th century? Now we're splitting hairs. Answer, yes, the French Revolution. Let's estimate that Belle spent about 1 year with the Beast before marriage, based on weather with the 1991 version, going from summer to snow to summer for their wedding. 1764, Belle marries the prince. 1788, Royal Treasury Fund is officially declared empty. April 1789, riots in the Réveillon wallpaper factory. 25 workers dead. June 28th, 1789, the Third Estate takes the tennis court oath, vowing to give France a new constitution. Timeline, July 14th, 1789, the storming of the Bastille. October 5th, 1789, the fishwives march on the palace, furious that they cannot afford bread while Belle and the prince happily munch on gray stuff. Armory is ransacked. One of the sexiest triplets that Belle has used to roll her eyes out has beheaded a guard, and she brandishes his head on a pike. Belle and the prince are forced by the angry crowd to return with them to Paris. Timeline, 1791. Belle and the prince will attempt to flee to France. 1793, we see the trial and execution of the prince. 1793, the reign of terror begins. October 1793, Belle is convicted and guillotined. By 1794, Gaston is a Muscadine, a street fighter of the Thermidorian reaction. Well-dressed, lower middle class, wielding a stick and wearing musk perfume. Gaston doesn't need musk perfume. Remember, his entire body is covered with hair. You know, it's funny. We're supposed to think that that's really gross, but then you think about this: the Beast has way more hair than Gaston does. Gaston, once again, Belle's choice. Gaston, working member of the Third Estate. The prince, lazy absentee royal who abandoned his people. Gaston eats many eggs to help him stimulate the French economy. The prince eats wasteful magical feasts while his citizens cannot pay for bread. Interested in home decor? Has decorative antlers. Attractive hairy chest. Looked more handsome as a beast. And there you have it. The end. Okay, that's the stupid historical way of pointing that out. I thought that was pretty funny. Anyways, if you go and you have you didn't come for the history lesson, but you got the history lesson today. No, the funnier part of this is that Gaston is actually a better choice, because when you think about the sort of, if you look at the Beast in the beginning of that movie, he's a narcissist. He is a narcissist. He yells for no reason. He's uncouth. He essentially, I mean, you got to remember that the reason why Belle goes to the castle in the first place is because the Beast kidnaps her dad. And he's like this pensive, brooding, son of a bitch who was cursed because people hated him so much. But what's interesting is Gaston is a better choice from the perspective that he's far more sociable. Maybe he's not as well read, right? Maybe he's not about books and everything. Of course, they're trying to. The thing about Beauty and the Beast is it tries to paint the masculinity, two sides of masculinity. One is the Beast, and the Beast, and Jordan Peterson's not wrong about this. The Beast is, he does represent a male archetype that women love to think that they can civilize. It's Tarzan, right? Tarzan and Jane. Tarzan, the ape man, right? He lives in the jungle. He's raised by apes or raised by wolves or whatever. He's just this complete animal. And it takes a beautiful woman like Jane to go in there, clean him up, put him in a suit, teach him how to use a fork, teach him how to proper etiquette. And what is it? Tarzan, Lord of Greystoke. Remember that movie? Like that. If you look, that's nothing like Tarzan. The original Tarzan is really a romance novel. It's not Tarzan the Ape Man. It's not like Pulp Fiction like it used to be when like Edgar Rice Burroughs wrote it. They've turned Tarzan into, oh my gosh, he's got long hair. Oh my goodness. And he's a savage that needs to, he's basically the alpha. He is the archetype, the alpha male archetype that cannot be tamed. And that is exactly what Andrew Tate is to Michaela Peterson, which is why in 2023, we're still talking about this shit today.